You too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is going to be your last 6 problems from your notes. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form that is parallel. Well, you guys know from our notes previously that parallel lines have to have the same slope. If you look at this equation right here, I know the slope because that's already in y equals mx plus b form. My slope is 1/4. So I already have this slope part taken care of. Now I got to find the intercept. Well, this is an x and this is a y. So I can plug that into y equals mx plus b, and then I'll know my b. So I have a y, which is -1, equals the m times the x plus the b. So now if you multiply 1/4 times 4, you get 1. And if we isolate the b, I get b is -2. So I now have the 2 pieces that I need, and my equation is y equals 1/4 x minus 2. So this line will be parallel to this line, and it will go through that point. Let's try again in number 2. I have my point, so this is an x and a y. I have an equation, and that equation already tells me that the slope is 1/2. So if I take and plug this into y equals mx plus b form, I can then find the b. So I have y equals mx plus b. If I go ahead and multiply that, I get 2. If I solve it, I get b is -4. So now I have the 2 pieces that I need. My equation will be y equals 1/2 x minus 4. So this is the line that will be parallel to this and will go through that point. One more here with parallel. Again, you will see that I already have a point here for you. This is my x, this is my y. My problem is that equation is not in slope-intercept form. So I don't know what the slope is until I isolate the y. So in order to do that, I'm going to get rid of the x. Then I'm going to divide by the 2. And I have y equals 1/2 x minus 3. So my slope is 1/2. Now I'm going to take that and plug it into y equals mx plus b form so that I can find that b. My y is 2, my m is 1/2, my x is -1, and I'm trying to find the b. If I multiply, I get -1/2. If I solve it, I get 2.5 equals b. So the equation will be y equals 1/2 x plus 2 1/2. So this is the equation of the line that will be parallel to that and will go through that point. Always remember, parallel lines have the same slope. Moving on. Now we're going to write an equation that will be perpendicular to this line. Remember what we know about perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So if I look at my slope right now, I need to do the opposite reciprocal. Well, opposite means make it negative. Reciprocal means flip it over. So that is going to be the slope that I use with this x and this y. If I plug it into y equals mx plus b form, I can then find the b. Y equals m times x plus b. Notice I use the perpendicular slope, not the slope from the original line. Okay, so if I multiply here, this gives me 7 equals -6 plus b. Add the 6 over, I get b equals 13. So my equation will be y equals -3 over 2x plus 13. This is the equation of the line that will be perpendicular to that line and will go through that point. If you want to check, put it in Desmos and see how it works. Number 2. All right, here's my x, here's my y. I need a slope. Well, I don't know that slope until I isolate the y. So we'll get rid of the 7x. We'll divide by the -2. I have y equals, this will be positive 7 over 2x. Notice I kept that a fraction, folks. Minus, you can either leave that as 3 over 2, You can make it 1.5, you can make it 1.5. It doesn't matter because I'm only concerned with this number here. So if I want the opposite reciprocal of that, that would be -2/7. That's going to be the slope that I use. So when I plug it into y equals mx plus b form, my y is -1, my m is -2/7, my x is 4, and I'm trying to find b. So when I multiply this, I get -8/7, also could be written as -1 1/7, plus b. I'm going to add it over. When I do that, I think that's just going to give me a 7th for my b. My equation will be y equals -2/7 x plus 1/7. This is the equation of the line that is perpendicular to that equation that goes through that point. All right, last one for us here. I've got an x and I've got a y. I need to find a slope, so I need to isolate the y so it's in slope-intercept form. So I have y equals, this will turn into a positive 3/4 x, and this will turn into a positive 1/2. Now remember, this is the slope of my line, but I want to be perpendicular to this. So my perpendicular slope will be -3/4. And that's what I'll use to plug into y equals mx plus b form. My y is 6, my m is -4/3, my x is 3, and I'm trying to find b. If I multiply this, I get -4. If I solve for b, I get 10. So now my final answer will be y equals -4/3 x plus 10. This is the equation of the line that is perpendicular to that passes through that point. All right, folks, so that takes care of all of your notes. Your homework is here, and I will see you tomorrow.